Hey there, and welcome back to Little Reverie. Before we begin, I want to take the time to thank everyone for the support for my last video. I really enjoyed reading all of your comments and talking with some of you. I really appreciate the support and hope you will all look forward to my future videos. Now then, on to the video for today. For this doll, I'll be customizing a Laguna Blue. I haven't actually customized a Laguna yet, so this will be a first. However, I have no need for her fin-like features, so she will be undergoing some body modifications. I thought long and hard about whether or not I wanted to keep her original hair, or to just reroute with a lighter shade of blonde. Ultimately, I decided on the latter. I didn't want the light blue streaks that her hair had, and I just didn't feel like fiddling with it to remove just the blue. Plus, I felt like going with a more faded blonde hair color for this doll. Just a personal preference of mine. So first things first, I cut the hair as close to the head as possible, then dunk her head in some boiling hot water in order to soften the vinyl and carefully pull the head off of the neck peg.
Bruh.
Alright then, stew in the cup some more.
Moments later.
Okay, the head's very squishy. Take two! Okay, I don't think I have ever struggled so hard before just to remove the head. Just go back in the cup.
More moments later.
And later, with a lot of off-screen struggle, the head's finally removed. Now we can finally begin removing the remaining stubble from her head. Just take a pair of long needle nose pliers and dig around the head to pull out the remaining hair. For some reason, I have a tendency to get dolls that just have little to no glue in their hair. Sure, this makes the hair residue less gross, but I find it a lot harder to yank out than some of the ones that do have glue in the hair. Yep, there ain't a single drop of glue in there, y'all. Before moving on to the next step, I take some acetone nail polish remover and remove the original factory paint. Now taking some 2-part epoxy sculpt, I go over the doll's fish-like ears and sculpt them to have more human-like features. I've never actually sculpted human ears before, but for a first, I think they actually turned out pretty good. Setting the head aside for the time being, let's move on to the body. Since we will be getting rid of all the fins, I carefully cut off the fins on her arms and between her fingers, and smooth them with some sanding. Afterwards, I go in and fill the holes where her fins on her legs used to be with epoxy sculpt. Once the epoxy has dried, I mix up some blue paint in a shade as close to the original skin tone as much as possible, and begin painting the modified areas. After the paint is dried, for a little extra protection, I apply about 2 to 3 coats of matte varnish to the painted areas. And with that, the body modifications are now complete. Face up time! At some point, I decided to blush the doll's body. I don't normally add blush to the body of my dolls, only having done so a couple of times, but for some reason I really wanted to for this one. And yet the outfit will practically cover the doll's body, so the majority of it won't even be visible. Oh well, I'm still gonna do it anyway. I really like the contrasting effect the pink blush has on the light blue. Kinda gives her this transparent look. Now that we are done with the body and the face, time to add her hair. I used, I think it's called Honey Blonde from Retro Dolls UK on Etsy, and prepared it into wefts. Originally I was going to do a reroute, but I had already worked on the ears, and I didn't really want to deal with the epoxy trying to pop off from the force of plunging the hair into the head. I also was thinking that this would be a good time to experiment with making nylon doll hair wefts. I thought that I could make it work since I do prefer to glue the hair directly onto the head, but in the end it proved to be pretty tricky. I fumbled around with it a lot and ultimately I did manage to get it to work and look presentable. However, I think in the future I will stick to rerouting dolls when it comes to nylon doll hair. Once again, I'm going to try a little experiment. I want the doll to have some classic brown boots, but all I had were these skates. The shoe part is exactly what I need, but we can definitely do without the bottom portion. I don't have any tools to cut the plastic, so I opted for cutting off the rubber shoe from the plastic sole. Oh yeah, the bottom of those shoes is the exact aesthetic I'm going for. I then had to come up with what I could use as a sole that would actually stick to the rubber shoe. I tried epoxy, but it would pop off, as expected, so I ultimately went with fun foam, and it worked surprisingly pretty well. Now to just paint the shoes with watered down acrylic paint, and now we've turned some skates into regular boots. And lastly, we have the outfit. I ordered this gorgeous dress from lalarossa on Etsy, which even came with socks, underwear, and this absolutely adorable big fancy hat. And with all of this, she's complete! I think our high-class lady turned out pretty elegant. What do you think? I imagine her as a confident, classy young woman with a sweet demeanor. I hope you have enjoyed today's video. If you're new to my channel, be sure to subscribe and smash that like button. It would help me out a lot. And with that, from Little Reverie to you, may you all have a wonderful day. Till next time!